Bryant.
1985 and his plans for 1986.
The GM body styles have caused a stir. We'll see how these new bodies are shaping up.
And new sponsors are flying their colors. We'll take a look at that picture as well.
Hello everyone, welcome to Inside NASCAR. We're coming to you from beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida, where the weather is really nice. This year, it's not always that way in February.
We're going to have all the stories we just talked about, plus the NASCAR news in the mailbox. Ned, no real big surprise here in Daytona. Bill Elliott grabs the pole, but a few other question marks.
Yes, there were, Steve. 25 drivers ran over 200 miles an hour in test in December and January. 23 ran over 200 in actual qualifying, but there were some that didn't run nearly as fast as they did in the test after they'd gone through the inspection of NASCAR, but Bill Elliott was still the man that was there.
Well, I really think Bill Elliott will get the pole again at about a 207. If it's a cool day, I think you'll see a 206, 207. And I predict it's still going to be a 4, either Bill or Cale.
That was the general feeling around the garage, even though Bill Elliott didn't post particularly fast practice times. Cale Yarborough was the next best bet. But once cars went through inspection, it was time to stop guessing and start driving.
56 cars faced the 2.5-mile speedway on a warm, humid morning. Dale Earnhardt, in a redesigned Chevy, was the fourth car out and quickly set the stage for a procession of speed. His one lap of 203.142 miles per hour became the mark to beat, but it held up for just 7 cars until Bill Elliott cranked the motor on his T-Bird. 44.896 seconds after he took the green, last year's pole winner became this year's pole winner. The speed, 205.039, a fraction off his record of last year. At the time, he wasn't thrilled with his run. Are you satisfied with the speed you ran?
Well, it's what I got. It's what I'll have to live with.
But as more and more challengers posted times, it began looking more and more like last year. The GM contingent got a strong effort from Jeff Bodine in a Chevy. He was only a half a mile per hour slower than Elliott. Nearly half the drivers who posted a time cracked the 200-mile-per-hour barrier. The most surprising, Sterling Marlin. His 204-plus mile-per-hour effort was the third fastest of the day. Cale Yarborough's Ford was strong, but nearly a full mile per hour behind Elliott. But Elliott had the only Ford in the field. The other 7 drivers were in the restyled GM makes, mostly Chevys. And every team in the garage was eager to see how well the new-look GM cars would perform for the first time under race conditions. Harry Gant drew the pole, but quickly fell off the pace while Neil Bonnet took charge in the early going. On lap 4, Jeff Bodine got loose in turn 3 and was lucky not to bend up more than his front spoiler. After pitting, he returned to finish 4th. The man who had no handling woes was number 3 Dale Earnhardt, who surged by Bonnet on lap 7 of the 20-lap sprint. Elliott worked his way up from the middle of the pack until he was in Earnhardt's draft for what most expected would be a last-lap duel. But the charge never happened. The Wrangler Chevy hugged the track. The Coors Ford didn't, and Elliott could not get in position to make the winning move. So on this day at least, one GM car was superior to the Ford on a superspeedway. Earnhardt's second Busch Clash win was worth $75,000 and makes him one of the favorites in the Daytona 500.
Well, you know, the car was the same car I ran Talladega with last year, and when you watch the car would do, we worked on the car after we put the new back glass in it and worked with springs and chassis setups all through the test we did. And we started not to bring the car at the last test, but we kept adding up all the facts and figures we did when we was testing 3 different cars. And we said, let's go with this car. She's a winner anyway. She'll know what she's doing out there. And it did the trick. It went right out on the racetrack, and in the draft was comfortable. And, you know, it'd go right around the bottom if I wanted to go, and just really where I wanted to race.
How much race strategy can there be in a race like this? And if there is, how did it change as it went along for you?
Well, the race strategy in this race is really just if a guy's in front, try to be second and wait to the last lap. But the way as bad as everybody was loose in the corners and everything, and my car was feeling so good, you know, I thought I'd go on out front and try to get some lap money and see if I could get away from them. And, you know, I was lucky enough to keep pulling away from them through the corners, and they couldn't get back down the straightaway. So our car beat them through the corners, really. The handling beat them today.
And Bill Elliott and Cale Yarborough, but we think once we get into the race,
that's where it's really going to show. You know, we came close last year, and we beat the Ford a few times, the GM products did. So with what we've got now, we should be able to run with Bill on all racetracks, not just the short ones, but on all speedways.
A race car, you can work 24 hours a day and you never get done. There's always something else you can do. There's always something else you can try.
Hello everyone. Last year Bill Elliott had a dream season, winning almost $2.5 million and really getting himself into the limelight.
He sure did.
You can't blame Bill Elliott if he has to pinch himself every once in a while to see if 1985 really happened. Because Awesome Bill had a dream year, winning the most super speedway races in a single season, taking home a massive $2.4 million, and 50 years from now, folks will prop their grandchildren on their knee and say, I was there when Wild Bill Elliott won $1 million at Darlington. In fact, it was a year so spectacular that even Bill himself has a hard time picking out just one highlight.
First, I guess starting off winning here in February, going on, and coming through after wrecking at Rockingham, coming back to Atlanta and winning, especially in front of the hometown people. Just everything, coming on to Charlotte, I guess missing the Winston Meig in that race and then coming back and winning it at Darlington and all, everything that happened there, just the combination of everything, and then all the Driver of the Year awards that I've gotten. You know, there's just no one thing that really stands out. It just seems like it all stands out.
No doubt about it. In 1985, this lanky, soft-spoken Georgian made the circuit's super speedways his personal playground, and he realizes how hard a repeat of that feat will be.
Well, I don't know that you can ever top a year we had in 85. We were lucky in a lot of ways. We did a lot of things that had never been done in this sport, and to me, that was a revolution that I feel good about. Is everything that we've accomplished, we've done it pretty much on our own. And to come back and have another year, it'd be luck.
This year, it looks like the Old West revisited. Last season, Bill Elliott was the fastest gun around, but there are a lot of challengers this season looking for a showdown. The Bullets with Bill Elliott's name on them are these faster, sleeker GM cars, and they've got Bill's attention.
Well, I know what it's like to chase them because we've done it so many times, and I'm sure I've had it done to me all last year. I was the one everybody was shooting at, but you know, now it looks like they've got a little bit bigger bullets to shoot with, and yeah, like I said, we'll work hard, and I'm sure with our dedication to it, we may have a bad year every once in a while, but I feel like we'll be back.
Now, what about the revolution that you've caused with the General Motors change?
Well, it's been quite a revolution, and I feel like that, you know, it was aimed directly at us, and we'll work hard, and whatever happens this year, I'm sure it's going to be a hard year in a lot of ways. But I feel like I've sat down over the winter and looked at what could happen and the things that are going to happen, and I've just pretty much accepted whatever can come along.
What came out of that off-season stock taking? Well, some decisions that will keep other teams up long into the night.
You just going to have to work harder and continue on with whatever happens. You know, the one thing about it, a race car, you can work 24 hours a day and you never get done. There's always something else you can do. There's always something else you can try.
The team's Achilles heel last season was definitely the short track program, which Elliott has had in high gear for only 3 years. And it is again one area that will get a lot of his effort this year.
You know, I felt like we ran pretty good on the short tracks. We just had our worst luck there. The Ford product, I feel like, has been at a handicap on a short track because none of the other short, you know, Fords won on a short track either. So I think it's just a combination of a lot of things.
So then what will the reigning Daytona 500 champ and the Coors Melling team aim for this season?
My main topic is stay competitive. I like to be able to be up front, be right there. You know, even if you don't win, you know, you've had a good day and everything's worked right. And I just like to stay competitive.
Of that, there seems little doubt.
Welcome back to Inside NASCAR, everyone. Ned, it's fun to come down to Daytona, the first race of the year, and see all the new colors, and we've got some flashy-looking paint schemes this year.
We really do. Some of them, you feel like you're in the frozen food department at the supermarket, but there are some beautiful color schemes on the cars this year.
Just about every color under the beautiful Florida sun represented here in Daytona. Bobby Hillin Jr. should be sitting pretty with the help of Miller Beer this year. And after all, what a perfect combination, beer and pizza. Ken Schrader, last year's Rookie of the Year, has a new backer with Red Baron Frozen Pizza. Buddy Baker, a veteran of the NASCAR bull rings, has a unique sponsor, Crisco Oil. Buddy's last victory came at the Firecracker 400 here in Daytona in July of 1983. The new sponsorship may be paying dividends already. He qualified at nearly 203 miles an hour. Joe Ruttman will run for the Big Q, Quaker State, in the number 26 car owned by drag racer Kenny Bernstein. Meanwhile, Tim Richmond is in number 25. Country western singer T.G. Shepherd and Folgers Coffee combining for the support. Everywhere you look, new sponsors popping up, and that's extremely healthy for the continued growth of the sport. Corporations are finding out that sponsoring a Winston Cup team means increased exposure, translating into more product sold. For example, Eastman Kodak has entered the picture in a big way. Reportedly, a 3-year deal. The driver this year, Eddie Bierschwal. Last year, Eddie was a rookie without a sponsor. What a difference a year makes.
And it makes us secure in knowing that we'll be there every week, no matter what now, and not worrying. Now we can go to the track feeling secure that we're going to make the race, so we don't have to worry about maybe getting in and maybe not making it. So we feel like we can make them all now.
Better sponsorship means teams can run harder, and that just makes the racing more competitive. All the way around, a perfect marriage for drivers, teams, sponsors, and fans. By the way, for the photogenic Mr. Bierschwal, the new sponsorship has created a few minor problems. Have you been catching any ribbing because of the fact that you're photogenic and have the good smile?
Continuously.
Ned, I'm sure the folks at Eastman Kodak wouldn't mind a bit if Eddie had his picture taken in Victory Lane, but they've got a relatively young team, and I don't think they're quite ready yet.